The stars twinkled against the endless black of space as the Xilarian survey ship drifted through the old asteroid belt. This remote corner of space hadn't seen visitors in decades. The ship was small, with a crew of just 5 Xilarians busy at their stations. Their insect-like bodies moved with quick, precise movements as they scanned the area. "Another empty sector," said Kraz, the junior science officer. His antenna drooped slightly. 3 weeks of searching and nothing but rocks. Captain Zix clicked her mandibles in annoyance. "The Council wants this region fully mapped. Keep scanning." The Galactic Coalition had ruled peacefully for 300 years. 27 alien species working together across thousands of star systems. Their history books barely mentioned humans. Humans were just a footnote. A species that showed great promise before they mysteriously vanished 400 years ago after some terrible war. "Captain," energy reading at bearing 227 to 43, called Trill from the sensor station. Her compound eyes widened. It's massive." The crew gathered around her screen. Hidden among the asteroids was something that should not be there. Something huge. "Full stop," ordered Captain Zix. Approached slowly. As they moved closer, the object became clear on their view screens. It was a ship, but not like any ship they had ever seen. It stretched over 12 kilometers from end to end, its dark hull barely visible against space. It showed no signs of damage or aging. A faint blue glow surrounded it. "That's impossible," whispered Kraz. "Nothing that size could be built with current technology." Captain Zix stared at the screen. "Run a deep scan. I want to know what we're looking at." The scan results came back quickly. Trill's voice shook as she read them. "Captain, the ship's design matches old records of human vessels. It appears to be in some kind of stasis field, and it's armed beyond anything in our database." A heavy silence fell over the bridge. Everyone knew the stories. Before they vanished, humans had been fierce warriors. Their war technology had been feared across their region of space. "We need to report this immediately," said Captain Zix. She moved to the communications station. "Send a priority message to Coalition headquarters." 3 days later, a Coalition diplomatic vessel arrived. Aboard was Ambassador Krell, a respected Voltar diplomat known for handling sensitive situations. His tall, thin body and gray skin gave him a solemn appearance as he greeted the Xilarian crew. "Show me this human relic," he said. The massive ship was even more impressive up close. Coalition scientists had arrived on 5 research vessels, all dwarfed by the ancient human ship. "Can you identify it?" asked Ambassador Krell. Dr. Lyra Neck, the lead synorchaeologist, nodded excitedly. Her blue centurion skin flushed purple with excitement. "We found markings on the hull. It's called the UES Invincible, a human supercarrier from their final war." "Is it dangerous?" asked the ambassador. "It's in perfect condition, preserved by technology we don't understand," said Dr. Tenek. "And yes, if it were to activate, it would be the most powerful warship in known space." Ambassador Krell frowned. "The Council is concerned. Humans were unpredictable. Their technology should not be left unchecked." "With respect, Ambassador," said Dr. Tenek, "this is the find of a lifetime. All we know of humans comes from fragments. This ship contains intact human technology, maybe even their complete records. We must study it." "Carefully," warned Krell. "Very carefully." The Coalition ships surrounded the ancient vessel, looking like tiny fish around a sleeping giant. Scientists in specialized suits began to examine the strange blue field surrounding the ship. "The stasis technology is incredible," reported Dr. Tenek after the first day of study. "It's like time stopped for this ship 400 years ago." What no one noticed was a small light that began blinking deep inside the massive ship. Silent alarms triggered by their scanning equipment were waking up systems that had slept for centuries. And in a dark, cold chamber at the heart of the UES Invincible, a cryogenic pod began its warming cycle. Captain Eric Donovan, would soon open his eyes to a galaxy that thought his kind were extinct. The Coalition science team worked carefully around the massive human ship. Dr. Tenek directed a group of specialists as they studied the strange blue field that surrounded the UEA's Invincible. "The stasis field is powered by technology we don't understand," said Dr. Tenek. "It seems to bend time itself." A young Pravian scientist named Mulk moved his scanning device too close to the field. A small spark jumped between them. Then another. Suddenly, a wave of blue energy pulsed across the ship's surface. "Move back. Everyone move back," shouted Dr. Tenek, but it was too late. The blue field flickered and began to fade. Lights appeared along the giant ship's hull, blinking on section by section. The Coalition ships backed away in alarm as the ancient warship showed signs of life. Deep inside the UES Invincible, emergency lights bathed the cold corridors in red. The ship's systems reactivated after centuries of sleep. In a sealed chamber at the heart of the vessel, a single cryogenic pod completed its warming cycle. The pod opened with a hiss. Captain Eric Donovan gasped as he took his first breath in 400 years. His body felt heavy and strange. His mind was foggy. The last thing he remembered was giving the order to activate the stasis field as Earth burned behind them. "Captain Donovan," said a calm female voice. "Your vital signs are stabilizing. Please remain still while the revival process completes." Eric blinked, trying to focus on the room around him. "Aria, is that you?" A blue hologram appeared beside his pod. It showed a woman in a simple uniform. "Yes, Captain. I am Aria, the ship's advanced responsive intelligence assistant. You have been in cryosleep for 403 years, 7 months, and 12 days. Eric tried to sit up, his muscles weak after centuries of disuse. 400 years? That's impossible. The stasis field was only supposed to last 50 years, until it was safe to return. "The situation changed," said Ari. "Earth was lost. The harvesters destroyed all major human colonies. I kept you and the crew in stasis to protect the last remains of humanity." Eric's face went pale. "All of humanity. Gone." "I do not have complete information," admitted Ari. "Communication networks were destroyed. There is a 12% chance that some generation ships escaped to deep space." Eric swung his legs over the side of the pod, fighting against gravity. "And the crew? The Marines? All cryogenic units are functioning normally. Commander Reeves and the other senior officers can be revived at your command. 5,000 Marines remain in stasis. The ship is at 98% operational capacity." A warning light flashed on a nearby console. Ari's expression changed. "Captain, I must inform you that we are not alone. Multiple alien vessels surround the Invincible. They have been scanning our systems." "Hostile?" asked Eric, struggling to his feet. "Unknown. They appear to be research vessels. Their technology is primitive compared to ours." Eric steadied himself against a wall. "Show me." A screen lit up, showing the small Coalition ships circling the massive supercarrier. Eric studied them carefully. No obvious weapons pointed at us. "That's a good sign." He rubbed his face, trying to clear his mind. "Ari, activate minimal defense systems, but don't target the alien ships. Bring the senior bridge crew out of stasis. We need to figure out what's going on." Outside, the Coalition ships watched in growing alarm as more systems came online across the human vessel. Ambassador Krell called an emergency meeting on his ship. "We need to establish contact before this turns into a disaster," he said. "If there are actual humans aboard that ship, the Council must be informed immediately." Dr. Tenek couldn't hide her excitement. "Ambassador, this changes everything we know about human history. We might be witnessing the return of a species thought extinct for centuries." A communications officer burst into the room. "Ambassador, we're receiving a transmission from the human ship. They're requesting to speak with whoever is in charge." Every alien in the room fell silent. After 400 years, Humanity was about to speak again. On the bridge of the UES Invincible, Captain Eric Donovan stood in his freshly replicated uniform. Around him, his senior officers were still adjusting to being awake after 4 centuries in cryosleep. Commander Samantha Reeves, his executive officer, looked pale but determined as she took her place beside him. "All systems are operational, Captain," reported Araya, her blue hologram floating beside the command chair. "Communications are ready." Eric nodded. "Open a channel to the largest alien vessel." The main screen flickered to life, showing a tall, gray-skinned alien with large eyes. Ambassador Krell tried to hide his shock at seeing an actual human. "This is Captain Eric Donovan of the United Earth ship Invincible. Identify yourselves and state your intentions." Ambassador Krell composed himself quickly. "I am Ambassador Krell of the Galactic Coalition. We mean no harm. We discovered your vessel in stasis and were studying it." Eric's face remained neutral, but his mind raced. A coalition of alien species. This was nothing like the galaxy they had left behind. "Your scans triggered our automated systems," said Eric. "We have been in stasis for over 400 years. The alien diplomat's large eyes widened further. "Captain Donovan, humans are believed to have gone extinct centuries ago. Your reappearance is remarkable." Commander Reeves stepped forward. "Extinct? What exactly happened to Earth?" Ambassador Krell hesitated. "Earth was rendered uninhabitable in what our histories call a harvester war. We know very little about the conflict. It occurred before the coalition formed." Eric and Samantha exchanged grim looks, their worst fears confirmed. "We would like to send a small team to meet with you," continued Ambassador Krell. "Dr. Tanek, our lead xenorchaeologist, is particularly interested in human history." Eric considered this request carefully. "I will allow a small delegation to board. We will meet in a neutral area of the ship. My diplomatic officer will arrange the details." After the transmission ended, Commander Reeves voiced her concerns. "Sir, we have no idea what's happened since we went into stasis. These aliens could be hostile." "I'm aware of the risks, Sam," said Eric, "but we need information. If humanity is truly gone except for this ship, we need allies, not enemies." 3 hours later, Lieutenant Commander Keith Summers led a small team to meet the Coalition representatives at an airlock on the outer hull. 4 human security officers stood at attention as the airlock cycled open. Ambassador Krell entered first, followed by Dr. Tanek and 2 other aliens. The blue-skinned Centurion scientist couldn't hide her excitement at seeing actual humans. "Welcome aboard the Invincible," said Keith with a practiced smile. "Captain Donovan is waiting in the conference room." As they walked through the massive ship, Dr. Tanek marveled at the advanced technology. "Your vessel is remarkable. Our largest ships are barely a quarter of this size." Keith nodded politely. The Invincible was one of 6 supercarriers built for the final defense of Earth. In the conference room, Captain Donovan and Commander Reeves waited. The alien delegation entered and formal introductions were made. "I have many questions," began Eric, "about what happened after we entered stasis, about the current state of the galaxy." Ambassador Krell nodded solemnly. "And we have questions about humans. Your species is considered nearly mythical now. Stories of your technologies and warrior culture have become legends." "Myths," said Commander Reeves with a frown. "We were 12 billion strong across hundreds of colonies." Dr. Tanek leaned forward eagerly. "The harvesters were thorough in their destruction. Only fragments of human knowledge survived. Finding this ship intact is the greatest archaeological discovery in centuries." As they talked, other coalition ships arrived in the area. Military vessels positioned themselves at a cautious distance from the human supercarrier. Araya's voice came through Eric's earpiece. "Captain, we are detecting weapon systems powering up on the approaching vessels." Eric maintained his diplomatic expression, but his voice grew colder. "Ambassador Krell, perhaps you can explain why your coalition is sending armed ships to surround us." The meeting room grew tense as the first diplomatic contact between humanity and the Galactic Coalition balanced on a knife's edge. Ambassador Krell's gray skin paled further. Captain Donovan, I assure you this is just a standard security protocol. News of your ship's awakening has spread quickly. Standard protocol includes charging weapons, Commander Reeves asked sharply. Dr. Tenek looked worried. The Coalition has never encountered a warship of your size or capability. Some species fear what they don't understand. Captain Donovan stood up slowly. Ambassador, let me be clear. We have been asleep for centuries. We woke up to find our civilization gone. We have no quarrel with your coalition, but this ship will defend itself if threatened. The room fell silent. Even through their alien features, the humans could see the fear in the coalition representatives. I will speak with the fleet commander, Ambassador Krell said finally. This situation requires delicacy. While the ambassador made his call, Captain Donovan permitted Dr. Tenek limited access to the ship's historical records. They moved to a secure data room where ARIA displayed information on large screens. This is incredible, Dr. Tenek said, her blue fingers moving across the interface. Your records are so complete. The screen showed images of Earth before its destruction, cities that covered entire coastlines, orbital habitats where millions lived, colony worlds transformed to support human life. What exactly do your histories say about us? Asked Captain Donovan. Dr. Tenek hesitated. Very little, unfortunately. We know humans were expanding quickly when they encountered the harvesters. The war was devastating and brief. Most believed all humans perished. Commander Reeves studied another screen showing military records. The harvesters were AI constructs. They saw organic life as inefficient. They wanted to harvest our technology and resources. Yes, confirmed Dr. Tenek. They disappeared after the human worlds fell. Many believe they went dormant or moved to another galaxy. Captain Donovan pointed to a classified file. ARIA, Open Project Lifeboat. The screen changed to show massive colony ships, each one several kilometers long. When we realized we might lose the war, we launched 12 generation ships, explained Donovan. Each carried 50,000 civilians in stasis, along with genetic samples of Earth life. They were sent in different directions with randomized courses. Dr. Tenek's eyes widened. You mean there could be other human survivors? It's possible, said Donovan. The Invincible and 5 other supercarriers were meant to hold off the harvesters while the civilian ships escaped. We were supposed to follow once Earth was evacuated. But something went wrong, Commander Reeves added quietly. Earth fell faster than expected, said Donovan. We activated the stasis field as a last resort. The other carriers were destroyed. We were supposed to wake up after 50 years. Dr. Tenek touched the screen gently. If those ships survived, the humans aboard could have established new colonies somewhere in unexplored space. Commander Reeves looked hopeful for the first time. ARIA. Could any of the generation ships have survived? The AI's blue hologram appeared. Based on their planned trajectories and estimated harvester patrol patterns, I calculate a 37% chance that at least one ship escaped detection. The conversation was interrupted when Lieutenant Commander Summers rushed into the room. Captain, the Coalition fleet has grown to 27 ships. They'd formed a blockade around us. Captain Donovan's face hardened. It seems Ambassador Krell's call didn't go as planned. Aria's hologram flickered. Captain, I've intercepted communications from the Coalition fleet. Several council members are demanding the ship be surrendered for galactic security purposes. Commander Reeves stood straighter. What are your orders, sir? Captain Donovan looked one last time at the images of Earth as it once was. Then his expression changed to one of determination. Wake up the rest of the command crew and prepare to bring 100 Marines out of stasis. It's time to show the Coalition exactly what this ship can do. Alarms blared throughout the UEA's Invincible as more of the crew awoke from cryosleep. The massive ship hummed with activity as Marines in black armor assembled in the hangar base. Chief Engineer Olivia Garcia rushed onto the bridge, still adjusting her uniform. "Captain, all primary systems are online," she reported. "Shields at full power." Captain Donovan nodded. "Tactical status." Officer Ryan Mitchell checked his console. "All defense systems ready. Weapons charged but not targeted. The Coalition fleet is maintaining position, but their weapons remain hot." On the main screen, the Coalition blockade formed a ring around the supercarrier. 27 ships of various sizes, though even the largest was tiny compared to the Invincible. "Incoming transmission from Ambassador Krell," announced ARI. The ambassador's face appeared on screen. He looked stressed. "Captain Donovan, I apologize for this situation. The Coalition Council is divided on how to proceed." "Divided?" Donovan's voice was cold. "Your ships have us surrounded with weapons ready. Some council members believe your ship poses a threat to galactic security," explained Krell. "They want the Invincible surrendered and studied." Commander Reeves stepped forward. "This ship is sovereign human territory, the last piece of our civilization." Dr. Tenek appeared beside Krell. "Captain, please understand. The technology aboard your vessel is centuries beyond what we possess. Some species fear what might happen if it falls into the wrong hands." Captain Donovan considered their words carefully. "We have no intention of starting a conflict, but we will defend this ship." As they spoke, ARI had detected unusual activity. "Captain, someone is attempting to access our computer systems." Chief Engineer Garcia rushed to a console. "It's coming from one of the Coalition ships. They're trying to hack our main computer." "Shut it down," ordered Donovan. "There's more," said ARI. "I've detected a small craft approaching from behind the third moon. It's using a cloaking device, but our sensors can detect its engine signature." Officer Mitchell checked his readings. "It's heading straight for our main engine section. They're trying to disable us," realized Commander Reeves. "Probably to board and seize the ship." Captain Donovan's face hardened. "Raise shields. Target the approaching craft with a warning shot only." The Invincible's defenses came to life. A small beam of energy shot from one of the point defense turrets, passing just in front of the cloaked ship. The craft immediately became visible. A sleek black vessel with no markings. Ambassador Krell looked shocked. "Captain, I was not informed of this action. This is not authorized by the Council." "Someone's working against you, Ambassador," said Donovan. "Who would benefit from capturing our ship?" Dr. Tenek's blue skin paled. "The Velkaran Dominion. They've been pushing for military expansion for years." On a Coalition command ship, Intelligence Officer Vex Drax watched with frustration as his covert operation failed. "The humans detected our stealth craft. Their sensor technology is more advanced than we thought." His superior, Admiral Zorn of the Velkaran Dominion, growled. "The Council is too weak to see the opportunity here. That human warship could give us the power to reshape the Coalition." Back on the Invincible, Lieutenant Commander Summers made a discovery. "Captain, I've been reviewing the Coalition data Dr. Tenek shared. There are references to ancient records that mention the Harvester War." "What about it?" asked Commander Reeves. "Some Coalition species knew about the war while it was happening," said Summers. "They watched the humans fight and lose without offering help." A heavy silence fell over the bridge. Captain Donovan's expression was unreadable. "Captain," said ARIA suddenly, "long-range sensors are detecting multiple objects entering the system at high speed. The energy signatures match. Harvester vessels." Everyone froze. The ancient enemy that had nearly wiped out humanity was returning. "How many?" asked Donovan quietly. 5 ships, replied ARIA. "Each approximately 1/3 the size of the Invincible. They will reach our position in less than 6 hours." Captain Donovan turned to face Ambassador Krell on the screen. "It seems we have a bigger problem than our disagreements. The Harvesters have returned, and they're coming for all of us." Chaos erupted across the Coalition fleet as news of the approaching Harvester ships spread. Most of the alien species had never encountered the ancient enemy. They only knew the stories of how these machines had destroyed humanity. On the Invincible's bridge, Captain Donovan called an emergency meeting with his senior officers and the coalition representatives. 5 harvester ships, he explained, pointing to the tactical display, each one capable of destroying multiple coalition vessels. Ambassador Krell looked shaken. Our records show they disappeared after the human war. We thought they were gone forever. They were probably dormant, said Commander Reeves. Our ship waking up must have triggered some kind of alert in their systems. Dr. Tenek studied the sensor readings. These machines ended a civilization that was more advanced than our own. The coalition fleet doesn't stand a chance. Captain Donovan's face was grim. The harvesters are relentless. They won't stop until every ship in this system is destroyed. What can we do? Asked Ambassador Krell. We fight, said Donovan simply. The Invincible was built for this enemy. We know their weaknesses. Officer Mitchell stepped forward. Captain, I've analyzed the coalition ships. With some adjustments, they could be effective against the harvesters. Chief Engineer Garcia nodded. We could share targeting data from our sensors. Help them find the weak points in harvester armor. The meeting was interrupted by Admiral Zorn of the Velcaran Dominion, who had arrived on Krell's ship. His face appeared on the screen, reptilian features set in a scowl. This is clearly a human trick, he hissed. They invented this threat to force us to unite with them. Captain Donovan stood tall. The harvesters are real, Admiral, and they're coming for all of us. Prove it, demanded Zorn. Arias' hologram appeared, displaying historical records of the Harvester War. The screens filled with images of Earth's destruction. Massive cities turned to ash. Orbital stations torn apart. Billions of lives lost as the machines harvested everything of value. Admiral Zorn fell silent. Even his ambition couldn't ignore the evidence. We have 5 hours, said Captain Donovan. We need to prepare. Throughout the supercarrier, more crew members were awakened from cryosleep. Admiral Laura Shepard, commander of the ship's marine forces, took charge of the defense preparation. Wake up the fighter pilots, she ordered. Get the squadrons ready for launch. In the engineering section, Chief Garcia worked with coalition engineers to modify their weapon systems. The harvesters have a weakness in their shield generators, she explained. If you target these specific frequencies, you can penetrate their defenses. On the bridge, Officer Mitchell coordinated with coalition tactical officers. Their ships move in predictable patterns. You can use this to your advantage. Ambassador Krell watched in amazement as the humans worked. Your people face extinction, yet you help us without hesitation. Captain Donovan shook his head. This isn't about just saving ourselves. It never was. As the countdown to the Harvester's arrival continued, the Invincible transformed. Massive weapon ports opened along its hull. Squadrons of fighters prepared for launch. 5,000 Marines stood ready for battle. All systems at maximum combat readiness, reported Commander Reeves. Captain Donovan took his place in the command chair. Area, open a channel to all coalition ships. The AI complied. Channel open, Captain. Donovan's voice was clear and strong as he addressed the fleet. This is Captain Eric Donovan of the UES Invincible. 400 years ago, humanity stood alone against the harvesters and fell. Today we stand together. Follow our lead, target what we target, and we will survive this. The response came from dozens of alien captains. They would follow. As the first harvester ship appeared at the edge of the system, the UES Invincible moved to the front of the coalition fleet. The last warship of humanity prepared to face its ancient enemy once more. The 5 harvester ships entered the system like dark shadows against the stars. Their black hulls absorbed light rather than reflected it. Each vessel was shaped like a giant claw, designed to tear apart other ships and extract valuable materials. They haven't changed, said Captain Donovan softly. Same design as 400 years ago. The coalition fleet held position behind the Invincible. Many alien captains were terrified, but they trusted the humans' experience. Harvester ships are scanning the area, reported Officer Mitchell. They've detected us. Aria's hologram appeared. Captain, I've analyzed their communication patterns. They recognize the Invincible. The lead harvester ship accelerated toward them. Commander Reeves turned to Donovan. They remember us. They want to finish what they started. Then let's give them a proper welcome, said Captain Donovan. All fighter squadrons, launch. Target the lead vessel's shield generators. Hundreds of sleek fighters poured from the Invincible's launch bays. They flew in perfect formation, their pilot skills undiminished by centuries in cryosleep. The Coalition ships watched in awe as the human fighters moved with incredible precision. Then the harvesters opened fire. Massive energy beams cut through space, but the human fighters were too fast, dodging with impossible maneuvers. Coalition vessels, follow attack pattern Delta, ordered Captain Donovan through the open channel. Target the locations our fighters hit first. The battle erupted across the system. The Invincible's main weapons fired, brilliant beams of energy that struck the lead harvester ship directly in its weak points. The alien machine shuddered under the impact. In the midst of the chaos, Chief Engineer Garcia made a discovery. Captain, I've accessed the ship's full database. The Invincible wasn't just a military vessel. It carries the complete genetic archive of Earth. Dr. Tenek gasped. Every species, plants, animals, humans. Everything, confirmed Garcia, plus the entire cultural and scientific knowledge of Earth. This ship was meant to rebuild humanity if we lost the war. Captain Donovan had no time to process this revelation. 2 harvester ships were closing in on the Invincible, while the others attacked the Coalition fleet. 3 Coalition ships destroyed, reported Mitchell grimly. The harvesters are targeting their engine sections. Ambassador Krell's voice came through the communication system. Captain Donovan, our vessels cannot withstand their weapons. Pull back behind us, ordered Donovan. Aria, prepare the main cannon. The center of the Invincible began to glow as energy built up in its core. The supercarrier's true power was about to be revealed. Cannon charge, announced Aria. Fire, said Donovan. A massive beam of brilliant blue energy erupted from the Invincible. It struck the nearest harvester ship, cutting it completely in half. The machine exploded in a blinding flash. The Coalition fleet cheered. Even Admiral Zorn was speechless at the display of power. Target the next closest and fire when ready, ordered Donovan. As the battle continued, communications specialist Alan Prescott made an unexpected discovery. Captain, I'm detecting a signal on an old human emergency frequency. It's coming from the edge of the system. Source? Asked Commander Reeves. It's a human signal, said Prescott, his voice filled with emotion. The signature matches one of our generation ships, the Freedom. The bridge fell silent despite the battle raging around them. After 4 centuries, they had found other survivors. Send authentication codes, ordered Donovan. Let them know we're here. The Invincible's main cannon fired again, destroying another harvester ship. The remaining machines began to retreat, unprepared for such resistance. As the final harvester ships fled the system, a message appeared on the Invincible's communication screen. It was from the captain of the generation ship Freedom. UE is Invincible. This is Captain Maya Collins of the Freedom. We represent New Haven Colony, population 47,000. We detected your battle from the outer system. We thought we were the last humans alive. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. You are not alone. Captain Donovan smiled for the first time since awakening in this new galaxy. Humanity had survived. And with the Invincible and the Coalition as allies, they had a future among the stars once again.